There will be death, but we will be victorious!
Attila the Hun stands as one of the most ruthless, if not the most ruthless, military leaders of all time.
Now, I lay claim to the throne.
Attila the Hun is truly a political and military genius. He understands exactly how to apply military pressure in order to get what he wants. And furthermore, he understands how to rule a fairly large multi-ethnic empire of his own.
The legend of Attila makes him into this ferocious wild beast, which has a lot to do with the way in which Roman writers think about persons who come from the outer edge of the world.
Nothing is known about Attila before he bursts onto the Roman scene as an invader, as a conqueror. He's a mysterious figure, he's an unknown quantity to the Romans, and they don't know what his intentions are.
Attila's empire was huge. It stretched essentially from the territory that's today Ukraine over to the territory that's today Hungary.
Attila's greatest weapon are his people and the way they fight and their novelty and the terror they instill.
The Huns were a rude shock to the Romans. They came like a bolt of lightning out of the blue. I don't think the Romans were ready for them at all.
Attila was capable at inflicting what today we would call psychological warfare, slaughtering entire villages, one after the other, to send a very strong message to those that stood in his path about the fate that awaited them.
Attila is something of a tactical genius. He spots the weakness of Rome after the failed Vandal expedition. He begins to assault Roman cities, actually take territory from the empire.
He had used people who were captives in order to learn Roman siege techniques and to be able to actually take Roman cities by siege, something that barbarians, particularly Huns, had never been capable of before. He then sweeps into the Balkan territories of the Roman Empire and evacuates the population, enslaves them, kills them, empties the place of Roman inhabitants.
For a decade now, Attila has been building a reputation for invincibility based on straightforward and outright victories. He's built up the Hunnic war machine, he's added new subject peoples. This is the most powerful Hunnic army there has ever been.
At this point, Rome doesn't have the military manpower that it needs to fight against Attila. It doesn't even have the technological resources necessarily that it needs to fight against Attila. And it doesn't have the money to do it. And so in order to defend itself against Attila, it needed to convince all the barbarians who ruled in those territories it once held that they needed to join with Rome.
The final battle between the Romans and the Huns is for the very survival of Western civilization itself. The stakes could not have been higher. If the Romans are to lose this battle, all traces of their civilization would likely have been eradicated.
Two of the greatest powers of the ancient world, this Hunnic Empire and Rome and her Gothic allies, clash on the field of battle with dreadful losses on both sides. And at the end of the day, after it looked as if he was going to win, Attila is suddenly defeated and sent fleeing back to his own lands.
Attila had enjoyed a remarkable run of success. He had really never run into problems before. So the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains was a hugely important moment for him.
Attila loses his mystique, his aura of invincibility at the Battle of Chalon. This monster of the Roman imagination has been proven a general like any other, one who can be beaten, who can be driven out of Roman territory. And it does mark the beginning of the end of Attila's rulership.
Strategists, tacticians, ever since, have striven to copy what the barbarians achieved because it represents tactical perfection.
We know this land. This terrain is in our blood.